like the internet and YouTube itself, there's no class or racial barrier or even national barrier. People can all talk to each other. You know, Marxists don't like that in a sense. And the person who I was having a conversation with blocked me after I put some of these comments down. So they're not democratic. So by advocating revolution to destroy the forum of reason, thus thereby removing the threat of competition from means such as social democracy, Western rationalism, and cultural national unity. Now, of course, cultures go beyond national borders, particularly in Europe and in the United States. In such a state of struggle for control of the means of production between groups and castes, how can a reasoned discussion take place? This is a strategy of tension of both ultra-conservatism and Marxism. That is why we have a commonality of purpose. That is why they have a commonality of purpose and a commonality of interest to push out any other mean, especially Western rationalism, which advocates constitutional government, as in Thomas Jefferson or the European Union case, consent of laws, liberty and equality in balance under the rule of law, which is like the core principles of citizenship, which the Romans put down and the Greeks and Etruscans and Cretan and people of Crete before them. And to a certain extent the Anglo-Saxons and other Nordic Celtic peoples. Thus, why both systems fall into terror and dissolve as civilization breaks down, the instinct to survive switches on base instincts in every person who wants to survive. You can see this by the kind of way in South Africa people are so sort of arrogant, and arrogance is based on ignorance, projection, and often anger as well. Imperfect knowledge. You can see this the way that people become sycophantic towards people like Julius Malema or Jacob Zuma, whichever faction they're in. However, Marxism does not usually get past the conflict and dictatorship phase. In stage theory of Marxism, and you've got to be careful not to see everything through the prism of Marxist theory, because that's the trap of Marxism. They believe, as Lenin developed this idea of a dictatorship of the proletariat, the vanguard, the elite within society, which of course is the trap of Marxism. See, the conflict and dictatorship phase, i.e. anti-society, example, North Korea, where people are being put into prison camps and sort of re-educated because they did not show enough grief at the funeral of the dear leader Kim Jong-il. I do not doubt there is more altruism in Marxism's foot soldiers than from the foot soldiers of ultra-conservatism in the general sense, but I'm referring to this YouTube user. But you have not realised that altruism can be used as a weapon, as it's used in Marxism is based on a projection on others that everyone has the same motivations and as the grassroots true believer. Thus it makes it easy for a cynical Marxist elite or outside group to manipulate that altruistic emotion for evil by silence and critique within itself and from other groups, example the ANC. And that was something Christopher Hitchens said, and when he was younger, he was an ardent Marxist, but then became an ultra-conservative. Although he had some Epicurean ideas in there as well, or he attempted to side up to the memory of Thomas Jefferson, which is why I did that video on him. I have not advocated apartheid in South Africa, because the guy is accusing me at this point in our dialogue of accusing me of wanting apartheid in South Africa, because I do videos on South African social democracy. I have advocated a Southern African Union based on the EU model, which will allow the Boers, who have been in South Africa since 1652, before the United States was a nation state. That would happen in 1776, and also before the Zulus moved into South Africa from Central Africa. The ANC is a coalition, but it now has become dominated by Marxist, feudalistic, Afrocentric primitivism and Zulu nationalism, exclusive Zulu nationalism, which Julius Malema's faction represents. To be independent, as I believe, in consent and self-determination for the Boer people or South Africans in general, based on their citizenship. The ANC is killing its political enemies, Causa Boers, people in NGOs, etc. And I continue on about South Africa. Since Mandela left office, the murder rate in South Africa has risen to 52,000 people killed a year. Why is this, and why dismiss both South African NGOs and UN figures who have said the ANC is either complicit or active in genocide on tribal and political lines? A cross-party, left and right MEP group of the EU Parliament has questioned Jacob Zuma on genocide and crime, and discussed reviewing economic ties with the ANC and ZANU-PF, that's Robert Mugabe's group in Zimbabwe, and that is in reference to the letter I sent to a Dutch MEP who raised the issue, and it was really his work to get Social Democrats from the German Social Democratic Party, as well as Flemish nationalists from Belgium, basically people from all political perspectives, to have a look and question Jacob Zuma when he visited the EU Parliament. And to my great surprise and happiness when this happened, on the video that they sent me, the head of the EU Commission, and what is basically the EU civil service, said to Barroso, turned to Jacob Zuma and said, we will be reconsidering in the light of this what our situation. Of course, Jacob Zuma was very embarrassed, which is good, you know. The reason for South Africa's decline is its irrational laws. If England, the UK or US or EU reverted to 19th century or Iron Age methods in farming with uneducated, politically appointed farmers on small plots, we would have a food and economic crisis as well. Yet Marxism within the ANC has not pointed this out or stopped the trend towards tribal self-interest and primitivism. Just look at the rise in moot killings, a form of cannibalism in South Africa. The ANC government has made no moral signal that this is wrong for political reasons of trying to maintain its majority.